Born right here in Western New York, Reine Hauser's journey has taken her to New York City, where she served as the program director of Just Above Midtown, an arts organization dedicated to artists of color. She then moved to Houston, Texas, where she was the executive director of the Midtown Arts Journey, and later to Concord, New Hampshire, where she led the Jenkins Estate, a Victorian house and gardens, as its executive director. Wren eventually returned to Buffalo, where she made significant contributions as the associate director of the Anderson Gallery and later as the long term executive director of Gray Cliff, the Frank Lloyd Wright designed estate in Derby, New York. Alongside her executive role, she also taught in the Museum Studies graduate program at Buffalo State College. Currently, Wren is the principal of Hauser House Consulting and is actively involved on a pro bono basis with the Turtle Project in Niagara Falls. Her dedication to the arts and preservation continues as she serves on the collections committee of the Birchfield Penny Art Center and Roswell Park Center Cancer Center, and as an evaluator for the Preservation League of New York State. Additionally, she shares her insights on historic preservations through her reports for Buffalo Spree magazine. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need your help in welcoming our next speaker, Reine Hauser.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you to the Buffalo Architecture Foundation for inviting me. Okay, we're going to learn all about this turtle in 6 minutes. Many of you have never heard of the turtle or seen it in real life, and some of you have. It was built between 1977 and 1981 and designed by Tuscarora sculptor Duffy Wilson and Northern Arapaho architect Dennis Sun Rhodes. It's 3 stories and 67,000 square feet. It's located in Niagara Falls, New York. The turtle stands right near the rapids of Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is, of course, of great importance to the Haudenosaunee people. The turtle is an excellent, rare example of a cultural and educational center built by and for Native American communities. It was built to celebrate the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere through their art, history, and culture, and its anthropomorphic shape is based on the Haudenosaunee creation story. I gotta go faster. The turtle functioned as an indigenous arts heritage and cultural center until 1995, when financial issues forced its closure. For the last 30 years, it has sat empty and unused. You can see how sad it looks there. And yet, it is a prime and rare example of a cross between postmodern and indigenous architecture. Postmodern architecture favored the use of unusual forms and symbolism for their own sake, instead of the strict form follows function, ideology, and lack of ornamentation of high modernism. The intrinsic importance of its unique architecture is unparalleled. The turtle can be considered an example of a duck building, voila, as coined by noted postmodern architects Denise Scott Brown and Robert Venturi, wherein a building's form expresses its purpose in direct symbolic ways, thanks to its anthropomorphic design. From the perspective of some indigenous architects, modernism was the justification for American nationalism and manifest destiny. Modernists were assimilationists, a viewpoint that dominated much of Native American policy during most, if not all, of the 20th century. As postmodernism arose in opposition to modernist ideals, this cracked open an opportunity for indigenous architects to adopt some postmodern ideas as they were seeking to develop a new style of their own. The building clearly takes the form of a turtle in shape, form, plan, and ornamentation, architecturally manifesting the specific cultural references of the Haudenosaunee spiritual and cultural traditions and practices. The primary elevation faces Old Main Street to the west, where a turtle's head is the primary defining feature. The 3-story head is 2 bays wide with a generally symmetrical elevation. Although the building is for the most part intact, its original paint color has been lost, and you can see some of the deterioration over the years right here. Although it recently got a new coat of white paint, sadly. Shouldn't be white. Okay, let's see. And yet, the form of the turtle is clear from the aerial, pedestrian, and interior views. The massing consists of a large central round portion forming the body, with four legs at the corners, a tail at the rear to the north, and a head facing the falls to the southwest. The roof of the body, or turtle shell, is a steel-framed geodesic dome, covered aside from 7 adjacent triangular fixed-pane lights that form the shape of an eagle. The largest portion of the building, the turtle's round body under the geodesic dome, is a 2-story open space lit by the eagle-shaped skylight above. It retains its original volume, used for performances and exhibits that could be viewed from the balconies rounding the space on both stories. It was a vital breakthrough in the self-determination of the local indigenous community to recover, revitalize, and regenerate indigenous culture after literally hundreds of years of oppression and genocide. An extreme example were the horrific Indian boarding schools. There were 523 Indian boarding schools across the country, including 3 right here in Western New York, that housed orphaned and kidnapped children. For more than 75 years, these sought to eliminate indigenous language, culture, and heritage to quote-unquote civilize Native Americans. The curriculum was rooted in compulsive assimilation enforced by corporal punishment. We now know that physical, emotional, and sexual abuse were rampant, and the graves of hundreds of deceased indigenous children are yet to be found. That was the Thomas boarding school located in Cattaraugus, right next to the Seneca Reservation, in our own backyard. The Turtle, Native American Center for the Living Arts, was founded specifically to preserve and celebrate the languages, culture, and arts that the Indian schools sought to extinguish, and was created only 15 years after the last quote-unquote school was closed. Like the Haudenosaunee themselves, the Turtle still stands. However, it has been owned and neglected for the last 30 years by Niagara Falls Redevelopment, a private development firm. This is despite the fact that the Turtle sits at the very center of tourism activities in Niagara Falls, New York. The Friends of the Turtle Coalition, composed of indigenous and non-indigenous people alike, includes historic preservationists, bankers, students, Haudenosaunee elders, tourism professionals, architects, and more. We have banded together to reawaken the turtle and return it to its original use as a cultural heritage and tourism site. I just want to add 2 things. Friday, November 1st at 6 p.m., we're going to have a Reawaken the Turtle candle lighting. You are all most welcome to come. 6 p.m., November 1st, right across the street from the Turtle. And second, and this was odd coincidence, President Biden tomorrow will publicly apologize for the Indian boarding schools.
Thank you. Great job.